everyone. I'm Nadine, owner of NG Platinum Homes, and we are in a different atmosphere today because today is the first episode of What Makes This Design Great. And today we have Sherry Millien of Terra Vista Interior Design Group, and she's my first guest here to highlight some of your projects, and I'm so excited. So thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited too. I'm always love to talk about my work.
Yeah, and it's beautiful work.
Thank you.
We are going to delve a little bit deeper into the details of these projects. So the first one that we're going to talk about is Barton Creek.
Okay.
And this is amazing. The transformation on this office space was amazing. So as you can see here, we can see the before picture. And it looks to me like this particular client needed some organizational help.
Oh yes. So this client, this project is very near and dear to my heart. This client is from Katy. She is single. She has a very stressful work from home job, and she just obviously, you can see here, did not have enough space for all of the massive amounts of paperwork that her job has involved. So she asked me to help her redesign her home office so it was going to be more functional as well as more inspirational for her.
Once we move on to the after, people are going to be amazed. I mean, look at that.
Yes.
That, to me, it's a completely different room.
It really
looks like a different house. And when you sent me this as one of the projects you wanted to highlight, I was so happy about this because I've seen this project of yours before, and I think it's absolutely amazing. The cabinetry color, monochromatic, everything is painted the same color, right? If you zoom in a little bit, what color was this that you used on this space?
So that's probably my most common question that I get about this anytime that I do it. It is Sherwin-Williams Mindful Gray.
It's beautiful. I think with grays, it's very hard to find a good gray color, as you well know, and I know, being in construction, that when somebody says, I want a gray cabinetry or I want gray walls, it's very hard to find a good gray that's not going to look blue, or it's kind of going to hit the light differently, and this one is really, really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it doesn't have a green undertone, which was something that we wanted to avoid because we knew we wanted to also include the pink colors, the more blush, and if we had a green undertone, then the pink would really be kind of screaming at you as pink, and we didn't want it to be too girly. We knew it was going to be feminine, but we didn't want the pink to overpower, so we chose a gray that had a more of a purple undertone to it.
I mean, and look at that chandelier. That's beautiful.
That was the first thing we chose for the room.
So you kind of built off of that.
We built off of that. We always choose something different as an inspiration, and I was just sort of sourcing and fell upon that. It's an Aiden Gray piece. It is unfortunately discontinued. That's another piece. The paint, the chandelier, and the desk are the most frequently asked questions. And unfortunately, that one has been discontinued. So, but yes.
Wow. I mean, if you look at the before, and that if you can click on the before is, of course, like I said, organization was definitely needed, but the space just seemed very dark, dingy, if you want to say, depressing.
Yes.
And of course, you mentioned she works from home. So of course, working from home, you're going to have things everywhere. But then when you look at the after, it's so bright, light, and beautiful. It's just an amazing transformation.
Well, and a lot of that, and you being in construction, you kind of understand when I say this, the lighting in the room was terrible. And so that was one of the first things that we knew we had to do was add more lighting, whether it was the general lighting where we added the cans in the ceiling, the task lighting, which is what that, chandelier was placed over the desk on purpose to allow for that more enhanced task lighting. And then of course your ambient accent lighting, which were the sconces on the back, but we really wanted to address lighting. That was very important.
That was a beautiful accent, the sconces. I love that.
Thank you.
It's just beautiful.
They remind me of stiletto heels.
Yeah. Yeah, giving that girly touch, but it's not overly girly.
Yeah.
So that's just beautiful. Again, amazing work. So thank you for sharing this. It's just amazing.
Thank you.
So speaking of the desk, you mentioned that. That's a beautiful desk. So where did you source that from, and what was the decision on coming up with using this particular desk?
So the desk is a hooker piece. Yes, it is also, again, a very one of the most, I get a lot of questions, where's that desk from? So for everybody that's looking, it is Hooker. She wanted a very sophisticated, but also have a hint of rustic to it. So again, that desk it reminded me of, Provence. And again, that's timeless. And so I wanted this room to be timeless for her. I didn't want it to be dated fast. And so that's how we landed on adding this sort of touch of a provincial look into a more, updated, modern, traditional look.
And then you added some pizzazz with that rug on the floor.
A little fun, a little whimsy.
Little
You always
fun.
got to have a little fun. You can't take yourself too seriously. Yes.
Yeah, because with everything else, you have the desk and then you have a nice cabinetry, and then that does add a little bit of a flair. So that's really nice. I like that. And where did the decision come to add something like that? And how well did the client receive
She
something
actually
like that?
received it really, really well. I always like to, in any of my designs, I like to add something that's not as expected, something that keeps the eye interested. So the room, again, was so traditional. It was so... I didn't want it to get stuffy. And so we added just a touch of that animal print, a little bit of touch of whimsy. It's still, animal print is still timeless, it's still traditional, so it's still in keeping with the look of the space, but it adds a little bit of fun, a little bit of, oh, okay, kind of your eyes like, oh, wow, okay, something different to look at there.
And as far as the cabinetry, so she needed organization, so we can't see the internal views of the cabinets. Do you have adjustable shelves in there? Does she have, any pullouts? What did you do to give her the organization that she needs in there?
Right. So the organization in this room was key, and that's one of the biggest comments I get when people see this on Instagram or wherever is, oh, well, it's pretty, but it doesn't function. And I will first thing I say is, oh no, we designed this to be functional before pretty. So we have, again, like you said, kind of the pull-out shelves, the adjustable shelves, the back corners in the back. Those are actually 8-inch deep cabinets because we did have the window you can see over there on the side, and I didn't want to just stop the cabinets dead and not use every inch of space that we possibly could. And so she uses those narrower shelves for whatever it is, ink toner, things like that she can put things that don't need as much space, but you still have all of that storage in there. So it was very well thought out, it's very functional.
That's good. And it looks like that's what she needed.
Yes.
Like I said before, that was the first thing that caught my eye was, wow, this needs organization. So we're going to circle back to the lighting. Right, so you have the beautiful chandelier there, but let's talk a little bit about the table lamp that you added there for some lighting for her, and then the sconces. So where did you source those from, and what did you come up with the idea to give her a table lamp like that? Because I don't think most people would think about. I mean, that's kind of like an old-timey thing, is to use a table lamp in an office, but it's a very beautiful updated version.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Well, I know for myself, I'm getting older. My client is getting older. You need as much light as you can possibly get. So even though we have the general, we have the task, I also wanted her to have something that she could put closer to home, closer to her desk, to her reading. And so we chose a desk lamp, and then that one is from Surya. That one we chose, again, because it's a sort of a nod, a European provincial nod to the desk, to the space. You can kind of see with that cord, that's a very European timeless kind of cord. It just kind of hangs down instead of being hidden. And so we wanted to add that, keeping going with that sort of theme and keep that provincial look going. With the sconces.
Let's zoom in on the sconces now. Take a look at those.
So those sconces are sourced from a local vendor, M&M Lighting. I really enjoy working with Amy and her team there. They're very knowledgeable. They're very helpful. And so we chose those sconces because of the long linear look. We wanted the traditional shade, so we kept with that. We kept with the traditional brass finish, also kind of ties in with the finish on all of the lighting, is in those gold or brass tones. But then we also wanted to have that long, elongated look because the ceilings are 9 feet tall, so they're not really tall. So we wanted things that would also sort of lengthen the eye, keep it moving up and down rather than, stopping it short and calling out that we had a shorter ceiling. So some of the design decisions were also intentionally made to bring that height up.
That's great. And I love how the cabinet detail, if you can zoom in on the cabinet door, how it's a elevated shaker. right?
Yes.
That's beautiful how you designed it in a way to add that little extra touch. So it's shaker, it's updated, but it's still, it gives it a timeless look as well. So that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me, and I am happy for everybody to see your amazing work some more. So thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for the next episode.